think that's what's worth cultivating. How do you go and pursue exactly what it is that you know is right for you, not just in defiance to your parents, not by separating yourself from them, but with their unwavering support, then now you feel like a family unit. Now you are really confident, because if you visualize right now, imagine if your mom and dad suddenly they were actually convinced and they were pushing you with a smile on their face, with an urge on their face for you to go and do that thing. And now imagine how easy it would be to go and do the hard work that you needed to do with your family support. That's what we want to cultivate.
Not quick.
How do you get your family support in something that... Sorry?
Keep going. How do you get your family support in something that...
How do you get your family support in something that you know is right, which they might not right now? Just so happens
I've learned this from...
Gummer.
I've learned this from How to Win Friends and Influence People, is to appeal to their interests. What will they get out of it? What will they win from this? How are they going to benefit in the long run?
That can be tricky, because what they actually mostly want, like your parents aren't walking around thinking, I hope he retires me. They're actually like, what they want is just what's best for you, but we can't really convey that to them because there's decades of limiting beliefs that we'd have to like break into them. And you know, through their own experiences, they've seen that what they're thinking is true. They've seen the guys who have the multiple degrees, who work like, you know, these like somewhat undesirable jobs for us, that they've seen those people do well. And so they've got proof that what they think is actually correct. Whereas obviously we've got more relevant and recent proof that it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
You want to know how I got my family support to become a YouTuber? So I was always just a normal kid, and you know, I got into trouble, and my parents would, especially my dad, he always hated me playing video games. He always would put like bans on it, and like, you know, we had a PS2 when we were growing up, and eventually we started to play on like the laptops, and he was always aggressively against that, and I always hated him for it. I couldn't understand it. That was my escape from reality, especially with, you know, the South Asian kind of household, but even for a lot of other guys, it's, if you don't have a desirable life, you've got family arguments, you've got problems in high school with friends and everything. The virtual world was a place where I was a dragon slayer, and in the real world I was just a traumatized kid who'd get beat every week or something, and get shouted at by teachers, and have a couple of friends who used to pretty much bully me. So you can see why I'd choose to, you know, jump into the virtual world instead. And so my parents had only ever seen that side to me. They'd only, you know, their belief of who I was formed as like this guy, this kid who just sits in his room and he just wastes time playing video games instead of studying. He just... Did you play games growing up?
I did play games, and then like this happened to me last year. This was with my parents. They were like, "Oh, he watches too much AFL, which is Australian rules football. Yeah, down under. It's a pretty cool sport. You should definitely check it out one day." But they definitely had that belief too.
That's how they view us, and they don't really acknowledge how fast you can change. And so they only saw me like that. They saw me as like, you know, this kid who wastes time and everything. And then, you know, everything happened. I went to university. I didn't come back for years. Eventually I moved back, and I had been away for years. I moved back right after university, and to then put up with them, when suddenly, you know, I had lived with like a girlfriend, I had lived with friends and stuff, and you know, you live with people that you like and everything, and suddenly I come back and there's arguing, there's shouting, there's fighting, there's threats, and you know, I'm sat like, I swore at my dad's face and everything because it was this heated moment. And then I literally took one bag, went back to my student city, and then just stayed there for another year. On the way there, I went onto WhatsApp and blocked everyone, went onto the phone contacts, blocked everyone, literally zero contact for an entire year. Eventually, you know, we started speaking again after like COVID and everything, and after a bunch of things happened, I decided to come back. They had seen me for all of their lives as this video gamer. I came back, and in the first 2 weeks I set some things straight. I wasn't going to be treated like this kid who just wastes time anymore, because I was a man now. I was a man with a purpose and a mission, and values that I knew were right for me. My dad's a taxi driver, so he wakes up really early, and he's just used to waking up empty, like silent house. He's making some tea or something to go. And suddenly on the first, or the after the first day that I had been back home, he wakes up at 5 a.m. or something, 5:30, as usual. The house is silent, everyone's sleeping. He walks into the kitchen, and I'm there filling up my water bottle. Oh, you couldn't you sleep? No, I'm going for a run right now. And he just looks at me strange. I'm going for a run, and it's pitch black outside, or it's dark. You're going for a run right now? Yeah, see you later. He just sees me leave the house. It's like they've never seen me do that before. I come back. I'm not eating the junk food. My mum, she's always protected me and everything. I'm going for a run. And she looks at me with, it's raining right now. Yeah, I've been waiting for it to rain. She looks at me as if I was crazy. I literally said to her, I've been waiting for it to rain. That's when I'm going on a run. Just like that, respect, up, higher. And then they start to see, there's no games on my computer. They walk in, and I'm working. And I'm working, and I'm working, and I'm working. Suddenly, they look outside the window, I'm skipping and doing push-ups and shit in the rain like some crazy David Goggins madman. Respect keeps going higher and higher and higher. Eventually, when they do ask me, what is it that I'm kind of doing? What am I working on? And I say to them, I'm going to be a YouTuber. Expecting them to criticize that. Expecting them, because literally a month ago, they would have just thought, that's just stupid. Get this job that you can. It's, this job's nice and safe, a receptionist, customer service shit, like literally minimum wage. They literally would have preferred me to do that. I say to them, I look in my parents' eyes, with confidence, I'm going to be a YouTuber. Bearing in mind, I had 40 subscribers at this point, or even less, right? And they're just like, oh, okay, whatever. I had 40 subscribers. The next morning I wake up and I've got 110, which is a weird jump, right? When you've only got 40. You're used to getting one every couple of days. Where did they all come from? My dad messages me. He sent my YouTube channel to everyone he knew. Everyone in Pakistan. Everyone from the village where he's from. Suddenly there's a bunch of brown guys commenting on my videos. Like, hey bro, I'm from your dad's village in Pakistan. And I had their unwavering support from that moment. Because I showed them that I wasn't messing around. That this wasn't some young boys, fake dreams, that I was just, oh yeah, I'll do this or I'll do this. I wasn't uncertain about anything. I was so certain that this was the right path that they couldn't help but believe it. And their respect for me had recently went up because they had saw me working really hard. They couldn't have changed my mindset with that. That's why I got their support. I think what may have helped, which probably is going to help you, just before this moment, I had been looking into a lot more red pill stuff, and I understood this concept called frame. Frame is, it's kind of like your belief of things, how certain you are that this is the frame of reality, how certain you are that this thing is true. I find that parents who don't support you in your dreams, it's because you have weak frame. So, in the dating sense, we say that women will test you. You've probably heard, videos online, everyone's nodding their heads. Women test you to see if you've got a strong frame of reality, to see if what you say and what you believe is actually true. So I am this confident type of guy. She will test me in some way every 20 minutes, honestly. Maybe she'll reply a little bit slower. Maybe she'll say something with a little bit of attitude. Maybe she'll be a little bit upset about something. And the guy who was faking who he was, who didn't have the real frame of his beliefs, he will suddenly change. He will reply faster. He will do this. He will do that. And so women test our frame to see, okay, we are this guy that we say we are. And I've realized that pretty much everyone actually tests your frame. Everyone is sizing you up, especially your parents, especially your mother. And so they're going to test you. Because it's easy for your mother, let's say you're going to the gym or you're going to try this new thing, which is a bit hard. It's easy for, she's just going to say, why are you even doing that? Oh, that sounds dangerous. Why don't you just not do it? You've seen this with your own parents, and a lot of guys will see this. It's easier for your parents to just say, why don't you just do the safer thing? Because as soon as, it's a test, that as soon as they see that you're considering it, in their mind, they're thinking, yep, no offense, yep, he's still a chump. Yep, he prefers safety. He's not a man. When someone tests you, and they can clearly see the micro expressions of your face have not changed, as if there was no question in your mind that what you're doing is right, that's when they will test you. You'll pass the test, and then they'll essentially like submit to your frame and understand, okay, whoever's able to keep that frame of reality, that belief as strong as possible, it gets like transferred like osmosis to everyone else. That's what happened. If I said, okay, I'm going to be a YouTuber, my parents are looking at me, a little bit weird and everything. If suddenly like I had a bit of like a squeaky voice when I said that, and I said it a bit silently, these micro things that you don't really think about, my parents would have tested it. Oh, that's really interesting, but why don't you just get a proper job? No, I don't want a proper job because being a YouTuber is really, really good, and you start explaining your point like a little bitch and everything, and suddenly like you get no respect, and they know, okay, we can break him. Is this what's happening with your family right now?
Spot on.
If they can break you, they will not support you. What you need, and I think it was amazing that you were able to be the first person to get onto the spotlight today, is because you need this rock solid belief of the decision that is right for you. That's why I spent so long at the start of this call asking you these questions, and just ticking off the boxes with logic, not with, we weren't emotional. I wasn't hyping you up and saying like, oh, you could be the best engineer in the world, bro, or anything.